Liam woke up with a sharp gasp as cold metal pressed against his back. His arms were sore, his legs weak, and his mind foggy. He sat up slowly, trying to understand where he was. The walls around him were smooth and glowing with pale blue light. The floor pulsed like a heartbeat, as if the entire room was alive. He remembered the shuttle Earth's outer orbit. A cargo run to Mars and, then, the flash, bright light, silence. Then everything went black. Now he was here, in a strange alien room that didn't feel like a prison, but didn't feel safe either. The only sound was the low hum of something beyond the walls. No windows, no doors. And yet the air was breathable. A metallic taste lingered on his tongue, like copper and ozone. His skin itched where a patch had been applied to his neck. He touched it. The skin was warm, but not painful. Then the wall in front of him shimmered and opened without a sound. She stepped in, tall and graceful. Her skin was soft, violet, almost glowing under the room's pale light. She moved with the quiet ease of someone who didn't fear being attacked. Her long silver hair floated behind her as if the air around her obeyed her presence. Her eyes, large, almond-shaped, with silver irises, watched him closely, but not coldly. Not like the others. "You are awake," she said gently, in perfect English. Liam blinked. "You speak my language." "I learned it quickly," she replied. "Your language is efficient. Your DNA is not." That made Liam flinch. "What? Do you mean my DNA is not?" She stepped closer, holding a clear tablet that displayed strange symbols and holograms. "I mean, your DNA is not ordinary. It is rare, ancient, and it may be the only thing that can save my people from extinction." Liam stood up slowly, keeping his hands at his sides. He didn't want to provoke her. "Who are you?" "My name is Solari," she said. "I am from Ethiata. My world is dying not from war, but from time. Our biology is failing. Our women can no longer conceive. Our genetics are collapsing. We need a compatible donor, one with traits long lost in our evolution. We searched across hundreds of systems. We found you. You abducted me," he asked, narrowing his eyes. "Yes," she said, not ashamed, "but only because we had no time left. I chose you because your blood responded to our call. We sent signals to see if any human could activate the old code. You did? That makes you the key." Liam backed away a step. "What do you want from me?" Solari lowered her eyes. "Not just your blood, your entire sequence. Not a sample, a full transfer. Our fertility process requires living DNA, active, code, and emotional connection. It must be complete and personal." His heart raced. "So you want me to breed?" Her cheeks darkened in a way that might have been a blush. "We do not use that word. But yes, your DNA must bond with one of our own to restore the ancient traits. But the choice must be yours. Consent is sacred. Even now, you are free to leave. But if you do, Ethera will die." Liam sat down, running his hand through his hair. It was too much, too fast, and yet she wasn't lying. He could feel it. Not just in her voice, but in the air itself. The weight of her words pressed against him like gravity. "Why me?" he whispered. Solari stepped closer. "Because you are compatible. Because your heart responded. And because—" She paused, her voice trembling. "Because when I saw you, I felt something I wasn't prepared for. Not just duty, it's not just science. I felt ... drawn. As if our souls had met before. That was the moment." Liam stopped thinking like a prisoner. He looked into her eyes and saw something human, something lonely. She wasn't a captor. She was desperate. Not just for her people, but for herself. The door behind her opened, and two silent guards stood at the threshold. They didn't move, They just watched. You can leave, she said. They will escort you. We won't stop you. But if you stay, you will not be just a donor. You will be the first seed of a new age. With me, if you choose to stay, it must be for more than science. It must be for connection. For bond. For hope. Liam stood still, the weight of choice sinking in. This wasn't just about genetics. This was about legacy, about being remembered, about mattering beyond a single life. Solari gave one last whisper. I need your DNA to save my planet, but I want you for more than that. He didn't answer yet. But something inside him stirred like a flame trying to rise. Liam didn't sleep that night, even though the alien chamber tried to comfort him with soft light and pulsing warmth. The bed adjusted to his shape. The walls whispered calming tones. But none of it touched the storm in his mind. Solari's voice echoed again and again. I need your DNA to save my planet. But I want you for more than that. What did she mean? Was it all some alien strategy? Or did she really feel something? Could aliens even love like humans did? The next morning, a soft chime rang from the ceiling. The door shimmered open. It was her again. Solari stood holding a silver robe. Please come with me. There is much you must see before you decide. Liam followed her through curving halls filled with glowing patterns and alien writing. The ship was quiet, too quiet. He expected guards, labs, scientists watching him. Instead, it was only her and him. Walking through what felt like a ghost ship, she stopped in front of a wide glass wall. Beyond it was a chamber filled with glowing tubes. Inside each one floated a being female, beautiful but lifeless. Their skin was pale, or their bodies thin. Some looked peaceful. Others looked like they were fading into dust. These are our daughters, Solari said softly. They were born empty, no spark, no fire inside, no future. Our genome is collapsing. Without outside DNA, each generation grows weaker. Eventually, they don't even wake up. Liam felt a lump in his throat. And you think my DNA can fix that? We don't think, she said. We know. Your blood healed a dying plant in our lab. It awakened dormant cells. Your breath alone triggered responses we haven't seen in centuries. You are not just compatible. You are catalytic. They moved to the next chamber. There, he saw children half-formed. Holograms of them displayed above long consoles. One version had his eyes. Another had his smile. He stepped back, shocked. You've already planned everything, he said, voice tight. No, she answered quickly. These are simulations. Guesses, nothing has begun. Not without you. I needed you to understand what's at stake. You are not a tool. You are a choice. My choice, if you allow it. Liam looked at her. You could have lied. You could have sedated me, taken what you needed. Why didn't you? Solari's voice broke. Because our species once did such things, and it cost us everything. We swore never to repeat that mistake. If we steal from others, we don't deserve to survive. If we are to live, it must be through connection, not cruelty. For a long moment, Liam said nothing. Then, quietly, and you? If this succeeds, what happens to you? Her expression changed. If it succeeds, I will be bound to you. By law, by body, by spirit. The transfer is sacred. It is not just reproduction. It is unity. You would not just be a donor. You would be my consort, my bondmate. Forever, he took a shaky breath. So you're asking me to marry you? In your terms, yes, she said, lowering her eyes. But not for politics, not for duty. I would never ask this if I didn't feel it myself. And I do. From the moment I first saw your memory echo in our scanners, I knew. There was something personal. Liam laughed once, dryly. So, I'm supposed to save your race, marry a space princess, and become a father to alien babies. That about right? Solari didn't laugh. She stepped forward, took his hand, and placed it over her chest. Her heart was fast, fragile, and real. You're not supposed to do anything, but if you feel even a spark of what I feel, then yes. That's exactly right. The silence between them stretched, then the ground shook. A red light filled the hallway. Solari turned sharply toward the wall. No, not now. Not them. What is it? Liam asked. She tapped her bracelet, speaking rapidly in her native tongue. A screen opened, showing a ship approaching. Pirates, the Tzorn know you're here, Solari whispered. They must have followed our signal. They want your DNA too, but they will not ask nicely. They will take you by force and drain your code until you're nothing but dust. She looked at him, fear and resolve burning in her eyes. We must leave. Now, if they capture you, all is lost. For my people, land for you. Liam didn't hesitate. He grabbed her hand. Then let's run. Together. The corridor lights shifted from calming blue to a violent red as alarms echoed across the ship like distant thunder. Liam followed Solari through a maze of glowing halls, their footsteps almost silent on the soft floor. Every few meters, the ship shook, signaling another blast from the enemy vessel outside. They're boarding, Solari whispered. We don't have much time. Liam didn't understand all the tech, but he understood urgency. Solari moved with purpose, guiding him through a door that sealed behind them with a hiss. They entered a sleek chamber filled with controls, crystals, and a small vessel sitting in the center. It looked like a capsule, just large enough for two. This is an escape pod, she said quickly. It's designed for emergencies, but it's the only way to keep you safe now. It's fast and hidden. We'll reach the surface of Ethiara in minutes. But we'll be exposed during descent. And what about your crew? Liam asked. She looked down. There is no crew. Just me. I've been alone since we left orbit. I didn't want anyone else involved. My people would have forced the procedure. I wanted to give you the chance to choose freely. He was stunned. You came alone. For this. Yes, she said, walking toward the pod, because I didn't just come for my people. I came for you. For what you made me feel. Even before we met, I saw your mind through the scans. Brave, lonely, protective. It pulled me in. And now, after touching you, I know. I wasn't wrong. The ship shook again, harder this time. The walls groaned like metal under pressure. Outside, the sound of a plasma cutter buzzed against the outer airlock. They're cutting in, Liam said. Solari touched a crystal panel and the pod's top slid open. We go now, or not at all. They climbed in together, the capsule sealing. Around them, Liam was pressed close to her, barely any space between them. He could feel her heart beat against his chest. She closed her eyes, hands glowing as she activated the pod with a soft chant. The world blinked in a flash of blinding light. The pod shot through the underside of the ship like a bullet. Outside, beams of energy lit up the stars. Zorn warships surrounded Solari's vessel, but the pod was too small, too fast. It slipped through the chaos and into the planet's atmosphere. The descent was violent. The pod rocked side to side, flames streaking past the window. Liam gripped the sides, gritting his teeth. Solari's hand found his, holding tight. She didn't speak, but her eyes were calm. They crashed into soft soil with a heavy thud, sending a shockwave through the ground. The pod's hatch burst open. Smoke spilled out. Liam coughed as he helped Solari to her feet. They were on the surface of Ethiora. The sky was violet. The air was rich and strange. Trees shimmered with silver leaves, and strange birds soared across 3 suns. It was beautiful, but there was no time to admire it. "They'll track us," Solari said. "We need to reach the hidden temple. The signal is too weak there for them to follow. And it's where the ceremony must happen." "Ceremony?" Liam asked. She nodded, leading him through the glowing forest. "It's not just science. The bonding is sacred. If your DNA is to awaken our people again, it must be shared willingly through ritual, through trust, through connection. Once we reach the sanctuary, you must decide fully, not out of fear, not out of debt, but with heart." They ran through the forest, the strange grass glowing under their feet. Creatures watched them silently from the shadows. None attacked. It was as if the planet itself recognized Solari and welcomed Liam. Soon they reached a stone temple hidden behind a waterfall. Ancient and glowing, it pulsed like a living heart. Solari placed her hand on the stone, and the wall opened. Inside was a chamber of crystal and light. In its center, a platform stood with 2 carved circles, one for each of them. The walls displayed symbols that looked older than stars. "This is the place," she said. "Once you step forward, the bond begins. You can still turn back. But if you step forward, you will carry my people's hope inside you, and I will carry you inside me, in ways beyond blood or breath. Are you ready?" Liam looked at her. Her violet skin shimmered in the light. Her eyes were full of hope and fear. And something deeper, something that asked not just for his DNA, but for his heart. He stepped forward. Liam stepped onto the glowing platform, and the air shifted around him like it was alive. The walls of the ancient temple pulsed brighter. Symbols across the crystal floor began to swirl with light. A hum filled the space, not loud, but deep as if the planet itself was watching. Solari joined him on the second circle. Her hands were shaking slightly, not from fear, but from meaning. Her silver hair flowed behind her as if touched by invisible winds. She reached toward him, and when their palms met, a pulse of light burst through the temple. "It has begun," she whispered. "Our DNA is now listening. It's waiting to merge. But we must guide it with trust, not force." Liam looked around. T didn't understand the science or the ritual fully, but he understood her eyes. They were honest, scared, hopeful. She wasn't doing this for herself. She was doing it for everyone who might come after her. "What happens now?" he asked. Solari took a deep breath. "This is the binding stage. It creates a shared memory link. We will see each other's past, feel each other's strongest emotions. It's how our bodies recognize the connection as real. If we resist it, the bond will fail. But if we accept it, we'll become one in spirit and code." Liam hesitated, then nodded. "Do it. I want to see you. I want you to see me too." She smiled gently, then placed her forehead against his. A soft hum filled his ears. The world around him faded, and suddenly he wasn't standing in the temple anymore. He was walking through her memories. He saw Solari as a child, sitting beneath the 3 suns of Ethiara, laughing as glowing insects flew around her. He saw her parents wise, kind rulers teaching her about science, peace, and sacrifice. Then came the sadness, the children that never cried, the growing silence in the nurseries, the pain in her people's faces, the funerals that became routine. Then he saw himself through her eyes. He was standing in a scan chamber, alone, eyes filled with confusion and quiet bravery. She had watched him for weeks, not spying, but studying, hoping, wanting to understand why her heart reacted so strongly to his presence before they had ever touched. The vision changed. Now Solari stood in his childhood memories. She saw Earth, crowded streets, dirty skies. She saw Liam as a boy, small and angry, defending a younger kid from bullies. She saw the empty room where he ate alone. She felt the quiet nights where he looked at the stars and wondered if he was meant for more than just surviving. He pulled back from the vision with tears in his eyes. So did she. "You've been lonely a long time," she whispered. He nodded. "So have you." Their hands stayed locked around them. The crystal walls burst into brighter color. The temple welcomed their unity. The DNA bond had started. But it wasn't done yet. "There's one more step," Solari said. "We must complete the fusion through physical joining. Only then will our code accept the bond fully. I will not pressure you, but you must decide now. Once we begin, it cannot be reversed." Liam's heart pounded. Not from fear, but from how real it all felt. He looked at her. She wasn't asking for pleasure. She was offering trust. Offering herself, not as a queen, not as a scientist, but as a woman who had nothing left except this moment. He reached for her, and she met him halfway. Their embrace was gentle, slow. The platform lifted slightly as energy flowed through them. The room shimmered, reacting to their heartbeat. Their skin began to glow faintly, and lines of light danced across their bodies. It wasn't just a connection. It was fusion. The temple sang. The DNA within them bloomed. Information transferred. Codes unlocked. Pain dissolved. For a moment, they became one voice in two bodies. The bond was not just physical, it was ancestral. It carried hopes of future children, songs of forgotten stars, and dreams never spoken aloud. When it was done, they collapsed into each other's arms. Breathing heavily but smiling, Solari rested her head on his chest. "It worked. I can feel the spark inside me. The DNA has accepted the merge. My people can survive now. Our future is alive again." Liam held her, not as a savior, but as a partner. He didn't speak. He just closed his eyes and listened too. Her heart beat slow and steady, but far above the temple. In orbit, the T-Zorn ship hovered, watching, waiting, tracking the energy signature of the bond. And they weren't going to let Aethra's future live so easily. Liam stood at the edge of the temple entrance, looking up at the sky that was no longer calm. 3 suns hung above the alien world. But something darker now drifted between them, a shadow with purpose. The T-Zorn ship had found them again. And this time, it wasn't silent. Solari placed a hand on his shoulder. Her violet skin glowed faintly where their DNA had fused. She was different now, stronger, radiating life. Her body had accepted the bond. Inside her, the ancient Aetherian bloodline had awakened. "They won't let us go, will they?" Liam asked. "No," she whispered. "They know what we've done." The energy released during the fusion lit up the upper atmosphere. "They want your DNA, not for rebirth, but for power. Their kind doesn't rebuild, they conquer. And they steal what they cannot make." A loud rumble shook the ground as a shuttle descended from the sky. Black and jagged, it looked like a beast made of broken metal. It crashed through the forest, burning trees with blue fire. Liam stepped back, shielding Solari with his arm. She didn't flinch. "I won't let them take you. Not after this. Not after you gave yourself to save my world. I'll die before I let them undo it." "You're not dying," Liam said firmly. "Not today. We fight or we run. But we do it together." The temple's walls shifted again, revealing a secret chamber behind them. Inside were old weapons, shining with light that pulsed in rhythm with Solari's skin. "These belonged to the protectors," she said. "My ancestors. They fought when diplomacy failed. The weapons are coded to my blood. And now, to yours as well." Liam stepped forward and touched the hilt of a blade. Instantly, it responded to him, glowing brighter. It felt warm, alive, like it was waiting for his hand all this time. Solari handed him a small shield. This can deflect Dazorn plasma. It won't last forever, but it can buy us minutes. And sometimes, minutes are enough to change everything. Outside, the T-Zorn soldiers were deploying. Tall and armored, they moved like machines, no hesitation, no mercy. Their leader, a massive creature with red armor and a pulsing crown of thorns, pointed toward the temple. "Find the human," he growled. "Bring the female too. The bond must be broken before the replication spreads. If she reproduces, we lose control. We cannot allow another Ethran revival. The bloodline must end here." Liam and Solari stood back to back near the temple gate. The jungle trembled as the T-Zorn approached. Birds fled. The wind howled. The planet itself seemed to mourn the coming violence. "Whatever happens," Liam said, "I'm glad I came. I didn't know I had a purpose. Until you gave me one, and you gave me something even rarer." Solari replied, her voice steady. "Hope." The T-Zorn burst through the clearing with plasma rifles raised. Blue bolts fired toward them. Liam blocked one with the shield, gritting his teeth as it burned into the barrier. Solari launched a wave of bright energy from her hands, blasting two enemies into the trees. They moved like they had trained together for years. She covered him when he charged. He protected her when she was open. Every breath, every motion, in sync. It wasn't just fighting, it was survival through unity. Liam drove the glowing blade into a T-Zorn soldier, feeling the weapon hum with energy. Solari screamed as she was knocked down, her arm grazed by a plasma bolt. Liam reached her in seconds, lifting her up with one arm, shielding her with the other. "We can't hold forever." He shouted, "No," she said, coughing, "but we don't need forever. We just need one chance to reach the temple core. If I activate it, I can release the final pulse. It will seal the DNA bond across the planet. It will awaken every dormant Ethran cell. My people, they'll be reborn. But it needs your help. It needs both of us to trigger it together." They ran through a hidden path behind the altar as the T-Zorn shouted and gave chase. Inside the temple's heart was a glowing pillar, pulsing like a heartbeat. Solari placed her hand on it. Liam did the same. Light swallowed them both. The pillar began to crackle. Energy surged upward, turning into a storm of white light. The T-Zorn leader entered the room too late. He screamed, raising his weapon. But the energy hit him first, burning through his armor like fire through paper. The chamber exploded in a wave of light that echoed across the world. The explosion of light from the temple core shook the planet to its roots. A wave of glowing energy spread across Ethera's skies, painting the heavens in gold and violet streaks. Forests lit up like the stars had fallen to the trees. Rivers pulsed with sudden warmth. Mountains echoed with low, distant tones like a song too ancient to name. The T-Zorn were thrown back like leaves in a storm. Those who survived screamed and ran toward their shuttle. Their leader's armor had melted into the stone floor. He never had a chance. The pulse wasn't just energy, it was memory, it was legacy. And it didn't allow parasites to survive. In the heart of the temple, Liam and Solari lay side by side, their hands still pressed to the crystal pillar. Liam's breathing was heavy. His chest rose and fell with exhaustion, but his eyes stayed locked on the temple ceiling. Where constellations had formed from the light, Solari turned her face toward him. Her cheeks streaked with tears, her smile gentle. "It's done," she said softly. "I can feel them. The seed has taken root. Our people, they're awakening again." Liam sat up slowly, every muscle sore but alive. "You mean your race is saved?" "Yes," she nodded. "But not just biologically, emotionally, spiritually. You didn't just give us survival. You gave us something we had lost long ago, connection. We were drifting in silence. Now the silence is broken. Outside the temple, the wind had changed. It wasn't empty anymore. It carried laughter. Voices, echoes of life, returning. Across Ethiara, new children were beginning to stir in suspended cradles. Dormant plants sprouted petals. Energy fields reconnected. The world had begun to breathe again. Solari stood up with Liam's help. Her body glowed gently, and her movements had a new strength, as if the planet itself flowed through her veins. He smiled at her. "You look different, stronger. I feel it," she said. "But it's not just me. The bond changed you too. You are part of Ethio now, part of its bloodline. You belong here as much as I do. You are no longer just human. You are something more." He took a step outside the temple and looked at the sky. Birds flew across the triple suns, and alien animals peeked from behind glowing trees. There was no fear in them now. It's just curiosity, just life. Suddenly, a rumble shook the ground. From destruction, but from the arrival of something vast. An enormous crystal ship descended from the clouds, its surface shimmering like living glass. It was a Theron. Solari's eyes widened. The council. They felt the pulse. They're coming here. They'll want answers. Proof. They will see what we've done, and not all of them will accept it. Liam frowned. "You mean they'll try to stop this?" "Some of them," she said. "There are still those who fear change, who believe the old ways must stay untouched. They will see you as a contaminant, not a savior. We must be ready to face them." As the crystal ship landed gently in the clearing, shimmering figures emerged, dressed in flowing robes and bearing symbols of old authority. They stepped forward, their expressions unreadable. The lead elder looked at Solari and then at Liam. His voice was deep and echoing. "You have awakened the seed. Without the council's permission, without our guidance. This is a violation of law and legacy. Explain yourself, daughter of Ethiara." Solari stepped forward, unshaken. "I followed something greater than law. I followed the truth. This man, this human, was chosen not by me, but by the world itself. His DNA merged with mine willingly. The bond was sacred. And now the proof is all around you. Life has returned. Would you deny it?" Another elder sneered. "Life gained through impurity is no victory. How do we know the children will be Etherin, and not something else?" Liam stepped forward beside her. "You don't, but you'll find out soon. And what you find will be stronger than anything you've ever known. Because it won't be just Etherin. It'll be new, balanced, and real." The elders whispered among themselves. Some nodded slowly, others glared. But one, a woman with glowing green eyes, stepped forward and smiled. "The bond was pure," she said. "I feel it in the air. The planet does not lie. The world accepts him. So must we." Solari turned to Liam, eyes shining. "We've started something bigger than both of us. They may resist, but time is on our side now. The children will grow. The world will shift. They can't stop what has already begun." Liam took her hand. "Let them try. I didn't come here to run. I came to matter. And now I do. Because of you, and high above them, in the golden light of the third sun." The first heartbeat of a new child echoed softly through the wind. The crystal ship remained in the clearing for 2 suns before the elders returned to the skies above Ethiara. They left with silence, but not with anger. Something had shifted during their visit. They had seen the light in Solari's eyes, the pulse in the ground, and the spark of life now awakening across the world. Even the most stubborn among them couldn't deny what was already blooming. Solari and Liam stood in the field behind the temple, watching the newborn dawn cast golden lines across the violet sky. Around them, the temple grounds had transformed. Where once there was only quiet stone and moss, now there were children's voices. Ethran mothers held glowing infants in their arms, some with Solari's features, others with traces of Liam's coloring slight. Subtle but unmistakable, the first children born of the fusion bond. Solari placed her hand gently over her stomach, eyes soft. I feel it inside me. Second heartbeat. Ours, the bond worked completely. I'm carrying life wire life. She will be born under a free sky, without fear. Without the weight of extinction. Liam stood beside her, quiet. He had spent nights watching the stars, asking himself what came next. Earth was far. His old life even farther. A cargo pilot, a loner. Now he was the first human father to a child born from another world. "Do you regret any of it?" Solari asked, her voice low. He shook his head. "I regret nothing. I came here in a cage. But now, I'm part of something bigger. Something that matters. I was lost out there. Now, I'm found here." She smiled and took his hand, leading him into the heart of the village being built near the temple. Children ran past them, laughing, glowing slightly with Etherean energy. Elders watched from a distance, still uncertain, but no longer hostile. The world was learning to breathe again. A young girl approached them. She had pale skin and silver eyes, but her hair was brown Liam's color. She bowed slightly, then said, "My name is Nari. They say I was the first to wake, and I wanted to thank you, human father." Liam knelt in front of her. "You're welcome, Nari, but don't thank me. Live your life strong." "That's all the thanks I need," she nodded, and ran off, chasing a glowing creature that looked like a floating fox. Solari watched with warmth in her eyes. "They will write stories about you," she said. "Songs, you'll become part of our myths. The human who crossed the stars and gave us a future." He chuckled softly. "I never cared for stories. But I guess if mine helps one kid feel less alone, then it's worth it." As the third sun rose higher, the temple bells rang a sound unheard for generations. The council had declared this day the festival of the first light. Every year, Ethiara would remember the moment their race was reborn, not from war, not from power, but from unity between two souls. Solari leaned into Liam, resting her head on his shoulder. "What will you do now?" He looked across the hills, where new homes were rising, and young voices echoed through the air. "I think I'll build," he said. "Not ships, not machines. I want to build homes. Stories, a future with you." With her, Solari smiled and placed his hand over her stomach again. "She have your fire, my light, and both our hearts. That is a future worth fighting for." As the planet healed and the people rejoiced, a whisper of wind moved through the temple arches. It carried something old, something sacred. Not in words, but in meaning. The bloodline had survived. The bond had held, and a new age had begun. Not through conquest, not through fear, but through the simple, unstoppable power of choice.